Hey, welcome everyone to another episode of I'm Right, which will be starting in about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So we got a great guest for you tonight, and let me check to see if she can hear me. So Dr. Nicole, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
And we hear you too. Oh, I'm sure the audience is so excited to see you when we start the show. Okay, well, this is good. So, Dr. Nicole, just sit tight and I will ramble for a little bit. All right, audience, if you are watching this in replay, know that you can just fast forward through this spot and get right into the show. But you might just like hearing my voice. And if that's the case, stay right here. Yes. And if you're watching on YouTube, please remember to do those, likes and thumbs up and, subscribe and, all that kind of stuff you can do. Because it helps our numbers. And by the way, audience, and if you're on Facebook, also, you can do some things. You can make your comments and questions and all that. And we do encourage that. Because this isn't just our show, it's your show also. And you make the show better every time with your comments and questions. Because we never know what we're going to get from you. Because that's what happens all the time. Let's see, what else? Now, if you're really daring and you actually want to be on the show where we can see you and hear you, and you can ask a question or do almost whatever you want, not quite, but almost anything, there's a link there that you can use when you're on Facebook and YouTube, and it will bring you right into the show where we would be able to see you and hear you. But if you don't want to be seen, you just choose not to turn on your camera when you're following the prompts to get into the show. So that's basically it. Also, for all of our listeners, I have to say thank you. Because lately, our listening audience is growing at insane numbers. Just insane numbers. So keep doing what you're doing and recommend the show to your friends and family. Even you can recommend it to people you don't really like so much. Because maybe we'll tell them something that will make you like them more, or they'll like you more. I don't know. But anyway, we've got about 1 minute and 23 seconds, and we're going to get right into the show. So please stand by. All right, everyone, we've got approximately 1 minute and we're going to get into the show. Now, I really would like to see some of our audience members, like actually see you on the screen. Because I miss all of you, because when we were on that other platform, which will remain nameless for tonight, we could see you all the time. And we could see you and talk to you at the click of one button. So, I miss you all. So anyway, we got about 20 seconds, so please stand by. All right, Jill, let's get this right. Hey! Come on, get that head swinging.
Hey! Woohoo! Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm Right.
And I'm Jill Cox-Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova, or Tony, as you know.
As most people
me,
call
yes.
you.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, I'm excited to be here.
Me too.
It's been a couple of weeks since you all have seen us.
Can you believe that? It's been a couple of weeks and we miss all of you.
Yes.
But we were busy.
We were busy.
We were supposed to be jet setting with the stars, but guess what?
We got uninvited. Apparently, we're not big enough. Like, we were invited, like special list. And then they were like, we're at capacity. You can't come.
It was like, come to our event, for this this star, this A-lister.
Yes, red carpet and all.
And then, what was it, 2 days or
2 days before, they're like, nope.
You're uninvited.
But that's okay. One day they'll be asking us to come as the special guest.
Hey, my feelings aren't hurt. It's okay.
It was okay.
I don't get.
We were tired that night anyway.
Yeah, I don't get starstruck or anything like that.
And that's one of the things I love about you. I could take you anywhere, and you're not going to get.
I have been
starstruck.
around many stars, but I don't. I'm not that person. I do like being behind the scenes.
Yes, you like special perks. In fact,
I do like that.
You've told me that you have grown accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
I have grown accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and you need to get me back.
I tried with that event, but apparently we're not back quite yet. And then the other week that we were gone, we were in Louisville, Kentucky, and that's why I want to bring up this person. Angela says, hi, guys. It's Angela Jackson Brown here.
Angela Jackson Brown. She's a famous author.
She really is. Like, big time author. Like People magazine has talked about her. She's been on best books lists. She is phenomenal. And she's a phenomenal person, too.
I wish I had the picture that
I took.
We should have.
So, Angela, next week, don't be surprised if I show that picture I took of you. That was a great picture.
She was the woman in red.
That's right.
All I got to say.
That's right. She had her fan. She had a red fan.
Yeah.
So hi, Angela. Welcome. And if your son is watching with you, hi, Justin. Welcome to you, too.
Justin's going to make us, even more famous.
Yes, because he's uber talented, too. Yes, talent runs in that family for sure.
It does. It does.
And then we also want to welcome the Cordovas. We've got family in the house. Hey, Ronaldo and Connie and everybody in your household. Says Cordovas are present. Hand pink waving. Is that a song? Or just hand waving?
Pink hands?
Pink hands.
Waving?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But we'll wave back. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. And then John Boltman is in the house. John always brings the fun. Not that the rest of you don't, but John always has one-liners. So John, pressure's on.
John is on point. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you here one day as a guest, but we haven't figured out in what capacity yet. We have. There is something else.
In 2 weeks, the idea, John, that you came up with about most embarrassing moments.
We're doing that.
Not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. Yes. That's the episode we're doing. So you're welcome. Since you thought of the idea, you're welcome to come and tell us your most embarrassing moment.
Yeah. So see, people, this is how it works. You know how at the end of the show, we ask you to give us some show ideas or something, a question, or comment or whatever. So John gave one, most embarrassing moments, and I do have a few of those.
I'd like to hear. I'm not sure I've heard them all.
I think you've heard them.
Have I?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
All right.
So this will be good. I would like to hear John's during that show. What his most embarrassing moment was. Okay.
All right.
Now what's next?
Well, we should get to tonight's topic because we have a special guest.
We do have a special guest.
So before we get to the top, tonight we are talking about navigating the workplace. Corporate America. Corporate America has a lot of issues, if you didn't know.
Really?
And our guest
Really?
tonight has written a book about it. But before we get to that, it's time for our first segment that we call
Stand by your stance.
Stand by your stance. I always want to say that after that little segment plays. Stand by your stance.
So one day we will change that open so that you can say that, so that
Stand
it's
by your
already there,
stance. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I don't know.
Okay, so when we do introduce our guest in a moment, she's written this phenomenal book called "My Soul Is Not for Sale," which I love that title. In fact, I will probably quote her on that at times. So yes, that's her book cover. So in terms of our stance, one of the things that she says in the book is that talent and hard work alone aren't the keys to success. So let's take a stance. Do you agree?
Oh, I definitely agree. Hey, look, I'm not going to say I'm brilliant.
You are.
Jill may say that, but
I
I'm
do
not going
say
to
that
say
about
I'm
you.
brilliant. But I've been, self-employed, or I've had employees and all of that. So I've worked for myself most of my life. So I'm pretty smart. I'm smart enough to do that, to work for myself. So we're having some technical issues, but don't worry about it. Pay no attention to the man behind
Or to my
the
face,
screen.
because I make faces when I do things wrong.
Pay no attention to the man behind the screen. All is good. All is good. This is why we bring you the real live.
Yes,
All
that's
of our
why we
shows
don't
are
edit
live.
it, so you can
We
see,
don't edit
you
it.
know,
If we screw
this is
up,
live.
we screw up. Hey, we're human. We're human beings. So as I was saying, I've worked for myself, my whole life. And
Lucky you.
if it wasn't, well, I'm not working for myself right now. Anyway.
But you like your job.
Yeah. If I didn't have to do it, that would be okay, though.
I'll
be
retire
okay.
you one day.
Yeah. So anyway, to even get to where I was, I started, small trucking business when I was 20, in my 20s, not even my mid 20s. I was like 24, 25. Yeah, that's mid 20s. Anyway, but through that process, even though I was very good at my job, even though everything I did was on point, there were people still trying to hold me back.
Say it isn't so.
Hold me back.
Hold you back?
Yes, some.
Did you break
It was
free?
because I was young.
Oh.
So there was a age discrimination because I was young and I was making a whole lot of money, and people felt like, oh, somebody that young shouldn't be making that much money. And the other, it was racial. It was just strictly because of the color of my skin that people were trying to take me down. And throughout the years, a lot of times they weren't successful. A couple of times they were successful. And it really dampened my success. I should have been making 3 times as much money, even though I was making a lot of money. But because they were deliberately trying to stop me strictly for my color, it didn't happen. So it didn't matter how smart I was or how good I was at the job. Had people trying to destroy me. So, and that happens at many places. And whatever type of job you're in, when you're good at it, seems that people come after you.
They do. They sure do.
Pull you down.
So I know this segment is called Stand By Your Stance, but in this case, I am agreeing with you. I spent decades in TV news, and I had the same experience as you just described. And you're right. It seemed that the better I got at my job, and I excelled at my job. I am not, that it's not me being arrogant. I was very good at my job. People would come after me. And I hate to say it, but more times than not, it was often the boss
Oh, yes.
who came after me, not my peers.
Because when you are smarter than the boss,
Well,
that is
a
a
good
problem.
boss, a good leader likes smarter people
Yes.
around them. But
Yes, that's-
most of my bosses didn't.
They weren't.
Yeah.
Are you saying they weren't that smart?
Yes, I am saying that. Most of them. I'm not saying all my bosses. The good bosses, you know who you are, because I've told you you're a good boss. Well, before we get to our guests, our audience has a question for you, Tony.
Oh, what are we saying?
John
here?
is asking, I'm curious, what part of the country was this that you just described? Northeast.
It was Georgia.
Oh, it was.
Yes.
I was going to say Northeast.
No, it was Georgia.
I've experienced it in the Northeast. But anyway.
Well, yeah, it was Georgia. I'm not saying that things didn't happen, but what I'm saying is when I started working for myself, I was in Georgia. I mean, when I was a kid, I cut grass and stuff like that, and I did other things. But when I really started making some really substantial money, it was all in Georgia.
Okay. Well, without further ado, let's get to our special guest tonight and let her weigh in. Welcome, everybody, Doctor. And I am giving props to anyone who earns a PhD and MD, doesn't matter. Dr. Nicole D. Bradford. Welcome, Dr. Nicole.
The crowd goes wild.
Yes, the crowd goes wild.
Hello. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I'm so excited.
We're excited that you're here. So you wrote a book called Your Soul is Not for Sale. And in that book, just as Tony and I were taking a stance, we agreed with you that talent and hard work aren't the keys to success. So what made you say that?
Just life, going into the workplace and encountering very tough situations. Because, when you're young and you first go into the workplace, your eyes are wide open. And I was always told as a young person that, you work hard, you keep your head down, and you do the very best that you can, and you're going to be super successful. There'll be no limitations for you. And that's not always the case. And it goes to what you talked about, some of those isms. We have way too many isms that still exist in our society. And, now that I'm 50, I'm even experiencing some of the sexisms and the ageisms. And I'm thinking like, I'm only 50. Ageism at 50 years old, but it exists in our communities. And so people need to understand that despite what the world and society tells us, we have to be willing to stand up and not conform to the world, but be able to stand up for what we believe in. And so we talked about the isms. And in addition to that, the access. Sometimes it's who you know. And a lot of us may be in positions that I'm fresh out of college. I'm a first generation college graduate, and that was me. And that was my story. And so I didn't have a lot of connections. And that limited me at the beginning of my career. So I agree with you that unfortunately, my parents meant well, but it's not always just being smart, working hard, and you'll equal success. We have to watch out for some of those isms and the limiting access, and that may try to hinder us. It may attempt to hinder us, but you can always overcome that.
You can, definitely.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
Well, I do have a question because I brought up, myself as an example, but and that it was a age thing. They thought I was too young. Two was a racial thing. So do these things also happen when race is not involved?
Oh, most definitely. Yes. We all know that it can just be someone's gender or there are people entering the workforce and they have made decisions that's best for them. And so people are discriminating against them or treating them differently just because of your sex. So it's not always just the color of your skin. And I had to learn that the hard way, but sometimes getting 50 is not being 50 years old in the workplace is not a great thing because you old people, I can get someone younger for a cheaper price that'll complain less or, go along with whatever it is that I say. And so, unfortunately, that exists in our societies. But if enough of us stand up and we speak up about it, we can definitely make some positive changes.
Absolutely. Well,
Cool.
you are the founder of maintaintheflame.net. Tell our audience what that is. What's Maintain the Flame?
Maintain the Flame. It's an amazing company. Maintain the Flame was established to help people design the life that you desire instead of having the limiting beliefs. You know, when we were all younger, we had this excitement and we were just so carefree in life. We didn't care who saw us, we didn't care what they thought. I'm going to do the very best that I can. But then as we transitioned into the adult world, we tend to conform. We want to make sure that we're accepted. We don't want to stand out too much. We don't want to upset some people. And then that hinders the way that we live our life. And so eventually, over time, that begins to wear on you. And then you look in the mirror one day and you think, who am I? Have I sold myself? Have I sold out on my soul just to be accepted? Am I doing things that I truly don't believe in just to fit in? And so Maintain the Flame is for all areas of the life. It's for you to reignite your flame, remember your purpose and your passion so that you can design the life that you deserve. And you'll have a life with no regrets.
Excellent.
Wow. I want to drink that Kool-Aid.
Right?
That's what I need.
Well, Dr. Nicole, what if you encounter what you have coined in your book is Kibbs, Kibbs, which stands for Little Kids in Big Bodies, which to me is that you're talking about bullies, right? Workplace bullies. So how do you maintain the flame when you have bullies in the workplace?
Well, when you encounter our L kids, we have to understand, number one, you need to know who you are. And you also need to know what you deserve. Bullies exist in all areas in our lives. We have bullies in our relationships. We have bullies in the church, unfortunately. We have bullies on our jobs. But number one, once you know who you are and you're able to take that stand for yourself and speak up for yourself, you can be successful in your workplace, on your job, or if it's at church or in your relationship. You have to understand what you deserve. So you have to come up with those expectations and those non-negotiables. You will not treat me this way. So being able to stand up to those individuals that have not dealt with their trauma. That's what a L-Kib is. I always say we're all just still little kids and we're just in big bodies. And so when you encounter them in the workplace, these are individuals that did not get the therapy that they needed or deal with their issues. So they're walking around the workplace and they're trying to be aggressive or assertive or make you feel less than in the workplace. But once you know who you are, you set up your healthy boundaries and you speak up for yourself, you can definitely be resilient and successful.
Very
Do you think you could be
good.
fired too? For doing that?
Definitely, yes. But, I think at times, and that's very hard for people to understand because of that. I think that's why it keeps us quiet in the workplace at times. Because, of course, especially right now with our economy, so much is going on, and we just think, I don't want to say anything. And, we in the book, it talks about the biases that are in the building. And unfortunately, we don't always deal with those biases, good or bad. Some of us believe that we go home on the weekend, we listen to certain music, we vote a certain way, we believe a certain way. But then when I arrive to work, I'm going to put it in a nice box and I'm going to leave it at the door and I'm going to go into my job with an open mind. And that's not always the case. We bring those biases in and it negatively impacts those around us. And so, unfortunately, when we do speak up against that, it can cost your job. But we have to also think about when we think about the individuals, our legacy, the people that's gone before us, had they not had the courage to stand up. Had they not had the courage to speak out, you and I would not be sitting here having this conversation right now. So I think sometimes if we would think about, yes, there are always going to be consequences, but those consequences can help to open the door for others so they don't have to suffer in the long term.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
that is very
Because
good
I
information.
guess I used to think I was a quiet person, but my friends, people who know me well are like, no, you've always spoken up. And I realize that I have, but I also, as a black woman in the workplace, I found that sometimes I I choose not to speak up at that moment. Like I'll wait it out until something else happens, until, so what do you say to, is that a good thing, bad thing,
Oh,
indifferent?
most definitely. Number one, you have to be comfortable with your situation. And I think it's a great idea to wait it out because it may be one situation and then things can improve over time. But when you see a pattern that is developing and this continues to happen consistently, then it's very important that you speak up because you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping the individuals that's going to come behind you. And you have to hold on to your integrity. And the phrase maintain the flame for the company, the strategies that I talk about to live a successful life, it comes from the term maintain. And we maintain, but then we lose our fire and our excitement for life because we allow the situations to dwindle our flame, or we allow that person that we're married to or the supervisor to dim our flame or blow out our flame. And we need to be able to we
I'm
need to be
sorry.
able
I'm
to
kidding.
Well,
stand.
you said married to it. He says, I don't know what he's talking about. I do not dim your light, sweetheart. I do not.
I didn't say you, Jill. I'm just saying I've been there.
And with that term, maintain those 8 strategies. The first one is your mindset. You must have a positive mindset no matter what you're going through. And I'm not just saying say those those affirmations and say it, and then you go out there and you don't know how to deal with life. Positive mindset, having that growth mindset so that you can overcome, being able to take action for things that you're interested in, that's important to you, being very intentional with the life that you live, nurture yourself, be very tenacious. Being authentic is important, but most importantly, the key is integrity. And if you don't have integrity, you're going to go along with anything that goes because you're afraid of the repercussions. And sometimes those consequences have to come because it's for a greater good. And last but not least is the N, non-negotiables. Come up with your non-negotiables so that you can have the life that you deserve.
Amen. Amen to that.
Yes, that's very good information.
You want to ask her about the other acronym?
About the other one, flush? What's up with flush?
Flesh, I love that acronym. I'm the youngest of 6 kids, and I come from very humble beginnings. Well, I had a sister, Felicia. God rest her soul. She's passed away. She passed when she was 48. But I was
sorry.
very
Hear that.
fortunate. Thank you. I was fortunate that I had become a supervisor at a very young age in my late 20s. And so she would always tell me, not only just in the workplace, but in life, when you encounter different situations, you need to go along to yourself. She would tell me, get a piece of toilet paper. You don't necessarily have to do that part, but you're going to write down everything you're frustrated about. You just get it out of your system. But while you're writing that down, it's very important that you write down your role in that situation. And a lot of us, we've skipped that part because we're so busy talking about what somebody else did to me and how somebody else hurt me. But it's important that you are accountable for yourself. So once you write down what's going on, then you write down your role in that situation, and you're going to reflect on that and see what you can do, what you could have done differently. Then you're going to take that piece of paper or toilet paper and you're ball it up and you're going to release it. Face life uncomfortable situation so that you can heal. If you're not willing to face your life situation head on, it's going to be very difficult for you to move on. So being honest with yourself regarding the total situation, your role in the situation, how you can grow from that situation, and ball it up, release it so you can move forward.
Okay.
I
now-
love that. That's
yeah, I
quite
love
visual.
that too. But I want to know what happens to the toilet paper because it is called flush.
Yes.
So you just tell you to flush it down the toilet and release it.
You are releasing it now. If it's a big situation and you've used 2 or 3 rolls, you might
Two or
just want
three
to
rolls. Now, that's a lot of stuff right
That
there.
is. But woo, you'll feel so much lighter afterwards, won't you?
All right. Yeah, I'm going to write that stuff down and flush it down the toilet. I'm probably going to write it down, then use the toilet paper, then flush it down the toilet. That's really giving them, goodbye.
Yeah, that's
trash.
TMI, sweetheart. TMI. All right.
That's
Well,
what
let's
I'm
get
gonna
to our last segment that we call.
I'm trying to help you.
All right, Dr. Nicole. What's you've given us lots of advice tonight, which is very helpful, especially for those of us just trying to make it through a day of work. In the workplace. So, what would you like to say before we wrap up the show? What's your advice?
My advice is to make sure that you're living your life to the fullest. I was watching a documentary and it meant so much to me. The young lady was talking about advice her dad had given her. And he talked about living full and die empty. So with the life, put everything that you have on the table. Go for your goals, go for your dreams. And know, especially now in our world and in our society, there's so much going on. But understand, if you're going through a tough time, I promise you, every situation has an expiration date. It's not going to last forever. So remember to remain resilient, have a positive attitude, and understand the importance of maintaining your faith.
Excellent.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Excellent.
But before we go, Jill, we've also had comments coming in.
Yes, we do. We do. John is commenting on your comment, Tony. Show that turd who's boss. That's advice for you.
That's right. And earlier, John was saying that makes sense. Things you were talking about earlier, right? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes. People have been commenting. Oh, and John has other comments too. He's got dang right, and I think that's just about everything that you said.
Oh, and I believe this is my nephew is here. I think he made a comment right.
He says,
there.
"I'm here."
He's here. Hey, welcome, welcome.
Okay. Okay. Well, do you have other advice to add to the wonderful advice? No, I do not.
You do not?
I think
she's got it covered.
I think so. I think so.
She has got it thoroughly covered.
I think so.
But which tells me is that Dr. Nicole has been through it. Okay? She didn't learn this stuff the easy way. She learned it the hard way. Unfortunately, as many of us do. So, I mean, kudos to you for coming through, and we still might experience some of these things, but you sound great, you look great, your energy is positive, so all is working.
It is.
Yeah.
I bet people listening to you speak to us tonight, I bet they wish they could just take you with them to work with them and have you there, or maybe they could just, put, have your voice on their shoulder, like the good shoulder, not the devil, the good shoulder.
Not the devil. Sometimes that little devil's on my shoulder. No,
listen to Dr. Nicole. Listen to Dr. Nicole. That's what I have to say about that. We also have another comment for you, Dr. Nicole. Angela says, "Thank you, Dr. Nicole. We need these life lessons in times like these."
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I truly believe, as your husband was saying, yes, I have been through a lot, and it's been tough at times, but I always believe that God allows you to go through things so you can help other people. And that's what I try to do when I'm writing, when I'm speaking, is to encourage someone else. And so it's very important. Check on those around you, because you never know what people are going through. A lot of us wear it well, but there's a lot going on in our society. So just let people know that you love and you care about them.
Excellent. Like you said, check on the strong people in your life, right?
Yes.
Yep. Well, everyone, that concludes our conversation with Dr. Nicole. But
we
Dr.
have
Nicole,
to?
I would like to continue reaching out to you and talking to you about this, because this topic is something I'm very passionate about and that I write about as well. So I would love to just, talk to you offline and,
Yes,
see
that
what
would
we
be
could do
awesome.
together, more collaborations.
I would love
and,
that.
and Angela too. Angela and I once did a half day virtual session for just Black women where we were telling them to lay their burdens down. So, maybe we could all get together and I'm not volunteering you for anything, Angela, but maybe we could all get together and do something, to help others like clearly you're passionate about doing.
Oh, most definitely. I would love that. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
That's about it. I'm good.
All right. Well, again, Dr. Nicole is the author of My Soul Is Not for Sale. I read this book in one sitting. That's how great it was. And I was your amen corner, Dr. Nicole, the whole time. Like, yes. Yes. And I was taking notes too, so that I would remember to do that if I encounter situations like you described in there. So thank you for that. And Tony, you got to help me here.
What are you trying to?
I'm trying to come back to this. I did it.
Yay!
And Angela is in. She says, I would love it. Okay. I'll be in touch with both of you. Yay. Okay. So thanks again, Dr. Nicole. We really appreciate you.
We're sending our love to you.
Our love.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
And also check out her website, maintaintheflame.net.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Maintain the flame.
All right. Well, we'll let you go, Dr. Nicole. And we'll talk about what's coming up next. Is that what we're doing? What do we do now?
What is coming up next, Jill? What is going on? What's coming up
I
next?
don't know. I don't know what's coming up.
I'm challenging you.
I don't know.
I'm challenging you.
I don't know. But we got other
challenging you.
comments. Denise says, thank you, Dr. Nicole. Love the title of the book. That's what I said. Okay, so what's coming up?
Let's do After Show Anyone?
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah. There we go. After Show Anyone, we need your input. So if you have an idea for a show, let us know. You know how to contact us, so that's easy. So let us know, and we are going to do the topic of John's suggestion, which is most embarrassing moments.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we need some audience participation in that
In
one.
2 weeks. Because next week...
next week, Season 8, Episode 17. Who do we have, Jill?
We have Dr. Diane Mueller, and she is we're gonna spice it up. She's a sexologist and an author.
Yes, she is. So that's June 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
All right.
Before we say goodbye, I would like to thank our audience. You all are great. John has one more comment. In news operations, I found that who got ahead depended on how all you were skilled with a knife, and who was a better poker player. So that was it, John. I worked with John. I never knew that. I guess that's why I didn't succeed there. It was important to choose your battles carefully. I didn't know that. I'd also like to, so John, thank you for being here always. The Cordovas, thank you all for being here. And I also see that Kevin, Nettie, Aaron, Mom,
a lot of people
Beverly, Loretta, Renee, Mrs. Sanders, and Denise were here.
All right.
That's a big
cool.
audience.
And again, if you didn't hear me from the pre-show, our numbers are exploding all of a sudden.
And we know that's because of you all. So thank you.
So thank you for coming to the show live. Thank you for watching the replays and all of that. Thank you. So keep telling your friends and family and anyone that might listen or listen to the replays, because a lot of people listen to the replays. So keep up the good work, and we'll try to keep up the good work. So, see ya.
Out of music.
Music ran out. We're getting kicked off.
All right. Well, we'll see you all later.
All right. And like usual, we love you all.